Hello, gamers! This is Games and Feelings, an advice show about playing games, being human, and dealing with the fact that those games involve other humans. I'm your host and question keeper, Eric Silver, and did you know, because Edgar Wright just tweeted this a minute ago, that there is going to be a Scott Pilgrim anime adaptation coming to Netflix? With the original cast of the movie and Edgar Wright and Brian Lee O'Malley all attached? Jasper Cartwright, permanent guest, did you know that?
No! I'm so happy! That's amazing news!
It looks incredible.
That's incredible. Oh, yeah.
I think Scott Pilgrim might be my favorite movie. Like, if someone asked me what my favorite movie is, I'd probably say that.
It'd be hard push to think of a movie that I can think of that, like, has made me genuinely as joyful as watching.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that movie really is, like, not only a joyful movie, but, like, a delicious movie. The cinematography, the music, the art style, the acting, it's top to bottom, it is absolute A tier.
It was probably the first movie where I'm like, oh, you could do that in movies. It's something I ask myself constantly. And now it's what I compare all adaptations to.
Yeah.
Going from comic book to movie and also using one artistic medium to talk about another artistic medium.
Yep.
Is just something I think about all the time. So I'm so stoked, especially how much money I've poured into Scott Pilgrim versus the World video game stuff.
Yep.
I got like the full thing. Did you see it comes in like a full, there's like the deluxe kit that I bought for like $150.
Of course.
It's like it comes in like an amp kit and it's in my living room. It's beautiful. It has like the drumsticks and like a 8-bit map of Toronto and all this stuff. So I freaking love it.
That's cool. I'm gonna come to your house and be like, hee. I'm gonna touch
Please
it.
do.
I'm gonna touch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, this is cool.
Well, I'm gonna come to your house and bother you when we get 100 patrons.
Please. Look, listen, just sign up to the Patreon, please, because I need to see my Eric. So
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'll be honest. I want to see Amanda more, but that's only because Amanda's like. No, come on. Amanda is a transcendent human being, okay? Like, spending time with Amanda is like what I imagine a life without, like, stress. Like, Amanda is so organized and just like, yes. I feel genuinely like my life is more relaxing when I'm around Amanda. Because I'm like, if I'm here and Amanda's here, this is where I'm meant to be. And I have nothing else to worry about. But otherwise, I'm very excited to hang out with you.
Is this like, and maybe I'm starting to understand Christianity, is this what Jesus felt like about God? He's like, no, Jesus, you're fine, but like, what about the Holy Spirit? Have you heard of that dude? I fucking love that dude.
I love that guy.
It's like, Jesus, you're kind of just like a dude with a beard, but what if if you could be let into my heart? That would be really tight. Like, that's how it feels for me.
If I can let Amanda into my heart to just be there always and make me feel calm, that would be great. I'd love that a lot.
That's probably what it is. Well, Jade is like a secret unlockable character for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't beaten enough of the campaign mode to unlock Jade.
Yeah. Jade is a hard character to unlock for sure. Like, she...
you have to win 100 matches in hard in a row.
Genuinely, there's a lot of people coming to my wedding soon who are like, I've never met Jade before. Like, I've met everyone on Jade's side because I'm just like, hey, come meet me, say hello, you get a t-shirt. And then, like, Jade's like, I'm going to stay over here in the shadows and the darkness and stay away from your weird friends with their extroverted ways. She doesn't sound like that, by the way.
It's the opposite at Multitude, is that I'm the extroverted one and everyone is introverted. So it's like I'm like a fucking jester at like a Dark Wizards consortium or something.
Do you ever feel like it's like a weird sensation of, because I think you have the experience of what it actually feels like to be a bit of a jock in certain scenarios, but when you hang around, like, I feel
so relative.
I feel awful sometimes when I hang around like loads of introverts. I'm like, I feel like I'm being a jock right now because I'm just like, hey, yeah, friends, yeah, okay, physical contact, and like all these introverts just like, get away from me.
Yeah, it's confusing. It certainly is confusing because I thought that we went into the media business because we didn't know where else to to put our extroversion.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it turns out all the extroverts work in corporate America and they get to lead meetings.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
All the introverts are in media, so I'm like, well, I thought, what were we supposed to do? I was here.
Yep.
The sign said, talk into microphone.
No, but that's the thing. The extrovert's talking to a microphone because there's not an audience. That's
right.
why. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I love all my introverts. They're the best, and they teach me to live a calmer life every day, which is good.
To all the introverts around me, I'm here to help you. I'm not.
I'm not scary, I promise, and I won't bite.
Like an Amish person walking up to a 3D printer. I'm here to help you. I'm not scary. I promise.
That printer's just there sweating ink. Like, no.
It's like, what is this sorcery? Get away from me! Why can you record 3 episodes in a day? Get out of here! The power of Christ compels you. Get out. And I'm like, I'll just do it. It's fine. Just get out of my way.
I'll just do it. Oh man.
All right.
Are we doing the games that are giving us feelings today? I'm determined we're going to get a question today.
No, we're going to do the games that are giving us feelings. We have a lot of questions, actually. I definitely want to do it.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it. Thank you, everybody who came to PAX East.
Yeah.
And to all of you. This episode comes out after the PAX East episode comes out. It was really nice to see people in person, especially Jenna and Merritt. I had never met Merritt K in person.
Mm-hmm.
I kept calling Merritt the infamous Merritt K because they're just like all over the internet. And they're just like tweeting their hearts out. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And Jasper, I think when this comes out, you will be post-married and on your whirlwind "Don't Talk to Me" tour.
Yeah.
Your
Don't Talk
honeymoon.
to Me tour. Oh, that's fun. I might tweet that. Just don't Talk to Me tour. Yeah, I think.
And all of the dates are redacted, so no one can find you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm assuming that I will have a beer in each hand. I will be on some sort of flotation device in 25 to 30 degree heat with a headphones on listening to an audiobook. That is what I am assuming I will be doing. There is also the potential that I will be writing, because sometimes I turn into a little obsessive when I go on holiday and I start writing something that I'm like, I never intend for this to go anywhere, but I enjoy the process of writing it.
That's nice. Like fiction or like a game? What do you write?
Screenplays, which are bad.
Oh, sure. Of course.
Which are bad and will never see the light of day. But, I like to occasionally have them. In my mind, one day Jordan Peele will come up to me and say, hey, I don't know what it is about you, but I think you'd be a good writer. And I'll go, here's the script. And then he'll go, great. And then that'll be the rest of my life will fall into place after that moment. So I have to be prepared.
I feel you. I don't really want to talk about the D&D movie, except to say that both of us saw it early, so we're both really important and cool.
Yeah.
But what I do want to say, just the only thing, because this is also going to come out a few weeks afterwards, and it's not going to be interesting and cool by the time that we're after recording this.
Nah, it's going to stay in the zeitgeist forever. That's it. It's entered the alums of history, and
That's
it
true.
will be forever present. Just like Hasbro.
E1 and the Hasbro Corporation surely did say, this is our IP. It is a movie. It is entered into the record as being a movie.
I had such a good time until it came up at the end saying Hasbro's Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, excuse me?
I know. I
was so angry. I was like, if I worked at Wizards of the Coast, I'd have thrown my confectionaries at the screen at that moment. I'd have been like, there's no one at Hasbro that's ever worked on this bloody game. You make Monopoly. Like, get a grip. Like, I'd be so annoyed if I worked at Wizards of the Coast, seeing it being credited.
I know, it's like E1, a Hasbro subsidiary, and I'm like, I hate this. This sucks so much. To only say, and I mean, listen, my review was a 6.5, and Amanda gave it a 4 and walked out halfway through.
Wow, okay, yeah, fair. Okay, yeah.
Was that the only thing I want to say about it other than this is like, man, you really could have played the Justice Smith part, right?
Yeah, for sure. I honestly feel like Justice Smith will have to be eliminated for me to have an acting career.
It's true.
Like
you have to mark it correct. Justice Smith.
What's even worse is my brother came out and has a beautiful boyfriend, and I'm like, God damn it, you tick more boxes than I do. I have a gay mum. My mum is gay, but I'm not. I'm like, shit.
That's why you got to go to all auditions with your mum.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be a mother-son duo, You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Power to Justice. He seems like a really nice dude.
He really does. He did really well.
And I kind of want to have all the success. And I honestly, the main thing I was pissed about was just that he wasn't the main character. Like, I was like, this would have been an infinitely more compelling movie if he was the main character, because he was great. And also, we just ditched the really super awkward half love. Anyway, I was like, that was weird.
Exactly. This is deeply uninteresting. This is 3 weeks later. No one wants to talk about this anymore. But truly, yes. Let's talk about the games that are giving us feelings. We always bring a game that is giving us feelings, and it doesn't have to be new. It just has to be a game that we've been playing or something game related, because I'm going to bring something game related today.
What do you have this game related? Sorry, I'm skipping the thing, but I want to know what you have this game related.
No, it's fine. And then I'm going to put an adjective on it like it's a live journal post. The thing that's game related is that Amanda and I bought a oversized giant adult beanbag chair because it's something that we've always wanted.
Yes, me too. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What's your experience? Do you have the chair in your possession?
We do have the chair in our possession.
Okay. And what's the vibe? How are we feeling when we're in it? Held?
Yeah, it's really nice. So this is not like necessarily a recommendation, but it's also for me to get ahead of the fact that like when you're adult, it's not made out of beanbags anymore. It's filled with memory foam, which is very important to what I'm about to say, because you have to spend 48 hours for it to reinflate.
Yes.
But even when you get the package, it's huge and it's heavy because it maintains weight because of its density, right?
Yes.
So like it was so heavy to get up the stairs, and it showed up on the day we left for PAX. So that shit was sitting in our lobby for like 5 days, our apartment. It was fine. It was totally fine, but it was very funny to come back to it, honestly. And yeah, it's called the Big Joe, and it was like more than $100 because that's how much that shit is worth. You know, furniture is expensive.
Everything's more than $100 now. Like we're entering into a global recession probably, so everything's over $100 now. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. So we got it, and it was really, really big because we had to let it inflate. So it was very tall. If you could envision it, I think around, it's the size of like a very large ottoman. And then for height, it definitely came up to about 3 or 4 feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would say 3 feet. Yeah. Because again, it was inflating. I didn't really sit on it because I'm like, I don't want to mess with this. I don't want it to be uninflated the entire time.
Sure.
And I finally, yesterday, I sat down on it and I just like settled, and then I was like nesting. Like I'm a chicken that's roosting, and I have all my chicks
and you
underneath.
Popped out a couple eggs, and it was a bit of an experience because you've never laid eggs before.
Yeah, and I really learned something about myself and motherhood. It was incredible.
I learned something about motherhood.
But yeah, it was the first time that I actually got to sit on it. Honestly, the reason why we got it is Amanda and I both have like some back issues. I just have it because I'm old, but Amanda gets like back spasms, like she's a sportsman.
Sure.
So she has to ice it, and she puts heat on it a lot. So it was nice having something else in our living room that we could lay on, but also like we live in an apartment in New York City, Brooklyn, so it's larger than the Manhattan apartment you're envisioning, but it's still not large. But I was feeling very self-conscious that it was like too big. But finally, now that I've sat on it for an extended period of time, and like I had a blanket on me and I had a pillow behind my head that was leaning up against our couch so that I could see the TV, which was the games related thing. I was really worried about my ability to see the TV.
Yeah.
But it actually worked out pretty well. And honestly, it was so comfortable, and now it's finally squooshed down, and we're rolling it in between our bedroom and our living room when we need to get it out of the way. For some reason, our bedroom is really long for no reason.
It is kind of long.
For no reason, it's really long. So we're like, oh, okay, we'll use this space. So we're moving in there when we need to like make it look nice. But it's actually been really cool to have like an adult squishy chair.
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah.
It was really comfy.
I support that decision, and I'm really, really happy for you guys because I genuinely have been thinking for a while, like we bought a house last summer, and it's a big old chunky house, and before you think, hey, you must be rich, nope, we live in the countryside in north of England, so everything is really cheap. And I've been thinking for a long time, like, I can probably get myself a games room up in this house somewhere. Like, I can do, like, there's space enough to do that.
Oh, you should. 100%.
I am. I'm not ready to execute on it until, like, I'm ready to do the whole thing, because I'm kind of like,
oh, sure.
I know if I half do it, it will just be half done for about 5 years. So I'm like, I need to wait, research, get everything, buy everything, and then do the whole thing at once, if that makes sense. So
no, I understand. It needs to come together. I also don't think you need to like neon it out. I know that like you got to turn it into like a barcade in your house.
Oh, yeah, the bar has to be in there, though. The bar has to be.
I'm not saying you don't have... I'm not saying it doesn't have to be, like, beautiful yet. Like, I do understand that a home arcade is something you have to do at once.
Yes.
So that it doesn't just, like, there's a chair, a game system, a TV, and one arcthis game.
And you call it... and you call it a game room, and I'm like, it's kind of just... It's like a teenager's bedroom, honestly. Like, this is not, like... That's why you need the bar in there, to make it adult. Like, you know what I mean? That's what makes it not a teenager's bedroom.
Well, Jasper, you shouldn't have put up those Boondock Saints and Family Guy posters.
Oh, just awkwardly stuck to the wall with blue tack, like not even framed. Oh,
yeah, dude.
I couldn't even. Like, the idea of putting a poster on the wall without framing it now is like, oh, no, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. But I will recommend it. I will 100% recommend it to you. I'll send you the link, and I will put the link in the episode description if any of you are looking into this. Again, we're not sponsored by this or anything. But we just have a very good experience.
Maybe we should be.
Big Joe, come on, Games and Feelings.
Come on, let's go. Drop us some dollar, and we will spread the gospel. I'll buy one for my new thing, or you can send me one.
Yeah, you can send me another one, then I'll have two.
Yeah, perfect. And then you can wheel them onto your bed until you have to go to sleep or something, like to store them.
Yeah, I sleep like a chicken. I sleep on top of the bed and the Big Joe.
You'd be so comfy though. That'd be so comfy.
Yeah. So the adjective I would say is like, can we turn adulting into an adjective? Yeah. I can't really think. I know it's silly, but it was nice that I got to buy something like that made me feel like an adult who's allowed to like have the things that I want. Yeah. Which is how I feel about video games, honestly, most of the time. So that's how it all kind of fits together.
Heck yeah. I'll go with something game, it is a game. I did a VO session yesterday for for a video game, and I got to play a Scottish child, and what's so fun is that there is going to be an entire subset of TV shows, films, and video games in which I play small brown boys. And what's even wilder is I got cast in something else, and it's the character, small brown boy, with the same name as a previous character that I've played. So there's going to be an even further subset where the brown boys have the same name, and I voice them. Like, it's so I love this wild.
This lane you're carving for yourself.
But genuinely,
Jamie, we need a voice actor right now. We need someone who can do a British accent and they're brown. Do we have anybody? This
is the joke. 2 of them American. 2 of them I'm doing American, small American brown boy. Yeah. But like I'm talking. Yesterday was my 4th small brown boy voice that I have had to do, and I'm worried because in my head they all sound exactly the same. Like the Scottish kid will sound different to the Americans, but in my head I'm like. Sure. It kind of all bleeds. Because the thing is, when you do VO stuff, right, it's like you have a spreadsheet. They literally just put a spreadsheet on the screen and you just rifle through like 200, 300, whatever odd lines, and then like noises and grunts and stuff like that. So like it does get to a point like an hour or 2 in where you're just like, I don't even know what is coming out of my mouth. I'm just kind of in this like zone. You know what I mean? You get afterwards and I'm like, I genuinely don't know how I sounded. So like normally you go back in and they'll play you a couple lines and you go, oh, that's how I sounded. Okay, because I genuinely couldn't remember. But I was just thinking about this kind of fun subset of media that is going to be a sort of Jasper William Cartwright extended universe in which all these little brown boys are just running around going on adventures together. Like, if someone at some point wants to cut together a bunch of media that I'm in with just all of my little brown boys going on an adventure together, I would love that so much.
Hey, put it out in the air.
There's enough there will be trust me when I say there will be enough content. 3 of these characters are leading roles. I genuinely, it's honest, once it comes out, that's all I'm doing for the rest of my life. I can't lose my upper range of my voice or I am out of work. It's a problem. So yeah,
I didn't know. I thought they were all like NPCs. I didn't know they were leading characters in these games. This is so funny.
Yeah, these are full. The one I did yesterday is a full ass playable character, and then the 2 others for TV shows, and they also are leading characters. One of them's like in charge. Kind of wild.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Jasper, you realize there's nothing I want more than to play as a character you voiced, so I can make you go ha ha ha.
Oh, fully. Trust me, I was literally doing that yesterday. I will off air. I will tell you what that one was because I think you'll find it fun. But yeah. So there you go. Oh, how's it making me feel? It's making me feel excited for the future of the JWC EU. Incredible. Yeah, there you go. BU? Brown Universe, I guess?
It can be BU.
BU? The JWC BU.
I'm really worried and I know you probably talk to other Americans more, but like I'm concerned that the references that I make, you then are taking as like general American society understanding, and like you're like, oh yeah, here's what I'm gonna incorporate this into this American character that I'm doing.
Yeah. All of it's entirely my voice basically that I use for any of these American characters is just Eric Silver, high pitched.
Nice,
that's all I do, and it's like the whole personality, everything. I make a lot of deep cut references to being Jewish, and like it's a real like it's like in just all of these video games and all these TV shows, there's just this little brown boy running around screaming random Jewish words and being just super high pitched and clearly from New York. It's a whole thing.
All right, so Jasper, you're gonna come in. You're gonna be doing the character of Devante.
Yep.
He's a young American black boy, and you're like, okay, so he loves Billy Joel, yeah. I assume.
One can assume he likes Billy Joel. Okay, good.
Just so I understand, like American references.
Yeah. Just so I can get really up to date American references. Okay, cool. 30% of his personality is going to be podcasting.
Great. Yeah. He's super into podcasting. How much is he going to be explicitly talking about workers' rights? Like on a scale of 1 to 10.
Let me see. He's actually going to be able to do it in his sleep. That's one of his superpowers.
That's one of his things.
It's actually 12 out of 10.
That's very funny. The only reason I was thinking about this is at PAX East, and I'm also bringing this up because you know these guys. I was able to meet up with Andy and Luke of Mom Can't Cook and Outside Xbox, who Multitude sells ads for Mom Can't Cook, which is why we met up with them. They're really fun and lovely.
Yeah.
And they were in Boston, and they were talking about that they were in Harvard. And this is I don't know what the fuck is going on in Boston, but there's a ton of wild turkeys running around.
Of course.
And I guess like they also do it specifically at Harvard University. A lot of them are just around there.
Right.
And they were telling us about it. I was like, and Julia, who was there, who's one of our players and joined the party, but also came to PAX East with us, was like, oh yeah, I have that experience on my house. And they show up all the time. I'm like, okay, hold on. Julia, you live very far out on Long Island where there's a lot of greenery. Andy, Luke, I need you to know this is not a thing that should be that you need to put into your American society
Turkeys
thing in your brain.
Everywhere. Thanksgiving, you just walk outside and you just grab yourself a bow and arrow and you catch yourself food. Like that's how, even if you're in the middle, the densest city in America, anywhere in America, you are never more than 2 meters away from a wild turkey.
Yeah, we don't talk about it a lot because, Thanksgiving is is my problematic fave holiday. But like the thing actually you do on the day before is that you go out and you fight a wild turkey. Yeah. And then Black Friday is actually about burning the other turkeys because the ashes is actually that's what we do on Black Friday.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was really worried because they were like, oh yeah, all of our references of America just come from The Simpsons. I'm like, okay, don't add wild turkeys to your Simpsons. like keep it wild turkey. This is just one specific thing that happened to you in Boston, which is wild.
Yeah, that is kind of wild though. Like English people, like I would say 80% of our opinion of America is, I'd say it's 80% Simpsons, 20% whoever's president at the time. Like that is entirely, that is like, I reckon most people's view of America. It's mine too, except for now it's just like, I've lost 5% of American president and I've replaced it with Eric Silver. Like that's, like, that's basically, that's like my, that's my understanding of America now.
Well, here's the thing, Jasper. Both Joe Biden and I love trains, so you're fine with that.
Boom! Look at that. Synergy! Synergy! Toot toot! Chugga chugga.
Bang, bang, bang.
Let's go.
And now this joke is leaving the station. We're moving on with the podcast.
I was just thinking, I was like, let's pull it to station advice and ask some questions.
Hey, it's Eric, and I picked up some snacks for Games and Feelings. I got coffee for everybody. All right, who had milk 2 sugars? Okay, that's for you. Who had hot black coffee? That's for you. Iced decaf Americano is for you. And something with whipped cream for me. Great. We are caffeinated and ready to go. And with that caffeine energy, you should become a patron at patreon.com/gamesandfeelings. If you're listening and you want to support independent art, please join up. Also, if you are a patron, you can still decide to support us even more. If you're at the $5 tier, you can hop up to the $10 tier and get exclusive access to questions I have to ask as soon as possible. Or you can jump up to the producer level patron status like Peyton just did, and you'll hear your name and get a compliment every single episode. So shout out to producer level patrons, Polly Burridge, Kelsey Duffy, and Peyton, who live near a big Target, so they got us Mario Bros branded stuff like a Prezi, no reason. Oh my god, thank you. I wanted this Mario lamp. This is so nice. It's a question block, and I can put a little LED light bulb in it so I can change the color. So it looks like Mario's jumping in like the red light district. That's fun. Patreon.com/gamesandfeelings. Hey, you're listening to this show. I think you should listen to the other shows on the Multitude Podcast Network. I think you'll like Join the Party. Join the Party is an actual play podcast with tangible worlds, genre-pushing storytelling, and collaborators who make each other laugh every single week. DM Eric, that's me, and emphatic players Amanda, Brandon, and Julia welcome everyone to the table, from longtime tabletop RPG players to folks who don't even know what Dungeons & Dragons is. Hop into our current campaign, which is a pirate story set in a world of plant and bug people, or marathon or completed stories with the campaign, a Monster of the Week game set in a weird and wild summer camp, Campaign 2 for a modern superhero game, and Campaign 1 for a high fantasy story. Once a month, we also release an after party where we answer your questions about the show and how we play the game. So what are you waiting for? Pull up a chair and join the party. Search for Join the Party in your podcast app or go to jointhepartypod.com. If you aren't listening to Join the Party and you like me, I don't really understand how those two things are fitting together. You gotta listen to it. You're really gonna enjoy it. We are sponsored this week by Describe, a very cool company we ran into at PAX Unplugged. They are an award-winning tabletop role-playing game publisher of descriptive text, immersive sounds, and interactive maps. If you're looking for help elevating your home game with killer descriptions, thrilling music and ambiance, or a map and a key, they got you covered. They also have both a free membership for over 600 totally free scenes, with more released every single week, or you can upgrade to a paid plan to access places, monsters, spells, items, illustrations, and more. There's so much you can do at your own table that I don't get to do when I'm doing Join the Party, because that's the freedom of just playing a game for fun and amusing your friends. Take advantage of this opportunity to do something silly and interesting and fun, and let Describe help you. If you need something else, you can get 10% off your first payment with code GAMESANDFEELINGS at describe.com. That is 10% off your first payment with code GAMESANDFEELINGS at dscryb.com. And now, back to the games. All right, Jasper,
Yes.
Are you ready for a question?
Oh, it's been a while. Let's go.
For sure. Well, no, we're not going to go to a question. I do want to encourage people to write in if we do help them out. This is what happened with the mortifying ordeal of Rolling Bones, who wrote in.
Mm-hmm.
If you might remember from a few episodes ago, this is the guy who was worried about starting a D&D campaign with his friends or coworkers, and they were really excited about it, and he was like, oh no, I have to tell it to other people.
Yep.
So they wrote in. He says, I have more feelings. Last time I wrote in, I was concerned and nervous about DMing a campaign for some people I never met. Tonight we had our first session and it went great.
Yes!
Thank you for the words of encouragement to be kind to myself even if things didn't go as planned. Considering I homebrewed how gaining your class worked, using Fiasco's character bonding activity, and I'm going to use Monster of the Week's level up system, tonight went fantastic. I have 7 players in an Avatar: The Last Airbender-inspired world with stats and bending abilities I homebrewed to work for D&D based off the Genasi. Thank you again for the show, the advice you give, and the occasional whiff of Padasane.
What wild. I mean, talk about jumping into the deep end. Like, that's amazing. Like, huge props to you. Congrats on running a session. I'm glad it was a success. Next time, feel free to just be in, like, a little town in, like, one of the, like, I don't know, myriad of fantasy worlds. Just, like, be a town in Middle-earth or something. It'll be super easy. But, hey... Yeah. What you did, incredible. Props. Even I'd be nervous about running that. I'd be like, yo, okay, there's a lot of spinning plates here, so well done. Proud of you.
One of the questions we get a lot, I think the 2 questions we get the most is like, 1, how do I deal with someone who is a sore loser or a winner for that matter?
Yeah.
And the other one is, how do I get people to start GMing or DMing or whatever, or running games?
Yeah.
And like, you should just do it. Yeah. I just think you should do it. I think that the double-edged sword of actual play podcasts is that the people who are the GMs look like gods because it's well edited and it's slick and they have a lot of prep and there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, you should see the amount of help that Eric gets on JTP. Like, whoa! I mean, it is barely any because he's a fantastic GM. That's right.
You should see whenever Jasper has to GM on 3 Black Halflings, he's actually reading from a script. You can't see that because of the podcast, but actually the videos.
Improvising is not a skill of mine.
No, actually, everyone's reading from a script. Jasper writes out what everyone says, and then they're all just reading. You can actually hear the page turns when it happens.
No, we edit the page turns out. Come on. We're not that much of an amateur outfit.
So what this all to say is, like, it's not that hard. You should just do it. It's just a different thing than maybe you're used to. But like, sometimes you need a big thing. You only want to do it if you want to do the thing you want to see in the world. Yeah,
I was going to say, find something that excites you. It's definitely a valid approach for sure.
Yeah. Jasper, here's a question that's been sitting in our inbox for a very long time, and I really want to answer it. It's a little bit outside of our purview, but I think that maybe our extra version can help us out here. This is a social mores question. I think it might be able to be applied here, if I understand correct, because this is from introverted LARPer, she, her. This question asker is also from Sweden, so they included their Swedish pronouns as well, which I thought was very cool. Han hen. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I thought that was really cool.
That's very, very cool. Yeah.
So introverted LARPer says, I am a LARPer, and sometimes I would like to just act scenes out with 1 or 2 people because I get tired in my head with lots of people around. I've noticed that if there are interesting scenes, other people start gathering together, and I want to be inclusive and open up games, but I also want to game without having to leave because the scene is too crowded. Help me with strategies so I don't feel bad for doing what's right for me.
Interesting.
Now, LARPing is a little bit out of our purview. I've never done it before. Jasper, have you been involved in LARP
I've
before?
done some versions of, yes, but not like a full scale kind of like adult LARP, like, you know, like the wonderful Mark keeps telling me that I need to do. But no, I have done like a version of that before. But yeah, I think we can tackle this for sure.
Yeah. First of all, hey, what if you made your scenes sound really boring?
Yeah, and then just spice them up at the last second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then just secretly do it. Everyone talk very quietly and together. But there might be something, I don't know what the rules are necessarily, but saying something is private might actually work out for the story you're telling. My understanding of LARP, it's kind of just like you're standing up and dressed up while you're doing Dungeons and Dragons. I realize it's not exactly the same, but kind of sort of. But I wonder if, like, can you put boundaries around scenes to say, oh, this scene, especially if you're starting the scene, I wonder if you can say, oh, this is just for this. This would happen in a room or in a building somewhere else where other people wouldn't know it's happening. Yeah. I wonder if you can do that.
Yeah, I feel like that seems like a pretty straightforward strategy for it. I think, like, with anything like this, the main thing that I would say is just, like, I think we get very conscious of, like, not wanting to ruin the vibe of the game or but, like, honestly, like, this is the reason that we invented safety tools, was for stuff like this, to be like, hey, right. I think people often misconstrue safety tools as being like, this is to stop people from saying racist stuff at the table. It's like, no. That's a given. That's a minimum expectation of being at this table. The way that I interpret safety tools, obviously, if something like that to come up, it gives you the opportunity to say, hey, no, I'm not comfortable with that, etc., move on. But the way I interpret safety tools is allowing everyone to be able to get the most out of this, whatever experience it is. Mm-hmm. So I think whatever LARP you're attending, finding out what the kind of safety tools are and just saying to people that you're with and everything like that, like, your preference is, like, you'd love to do some of these smaller scenes because you find, it's like overwhelming, or it's just a lot. Like, I definitely get that. It's like a lot to follow, and maybe the narrative gets a little bit messy as well. So I would just say, start off with your group and see if you can find a set of safety tools, like a little hand signal or a particular word or something to say, like, hey, any chance we could pause this scene here and pick it up, like, over there, you know what I mean? Yeah. If there's, like, again, I'm not sort of an experienced LARPer, so there may well be things like this in place, and someone might be shouting at their phone right now and be like, it's this. But, like, if there is something like that you could develop, so that you don't have to feel awkward, you don't have to feel like you're harshing anyone's mellow or whatever. If you want to step away from a scene, or you don't want to, like, disappoint your scene partner or the scene partners that you're with, if you want to take this scene elsewhere, by throwing up this hand signal or throwing in this word or whatever to say, hey, any chance we could do this at a slightly more subdued area because this one's feeling it's running a little spicy for me. Mm-hmm. I think we have to start interpreting safety tools with any game as a way to maximize the fun, not like like I said, I believe as a given, don't be crappy to each other, and like, so, and I feel like most of the people that are attending stuff like that shouldn't need safety tools under the traditional guise of, like, don't be a shithead. You know what I mean? Yes. That stuff is like there. So we need to start using safety tools to be like, cool, how can we maximize your experience of this game?
No, that's a really good idea. I think it's just worthwhile to say, hey, can I step out if things get a little bit too heated? That's more like, maybe I'm being a little too fancy that I'm trying to integrate that into the LARP itself. But I think just being able to say, this is getting too overwhelming, I can step away, and not needing to, like, integrate that into the fiction, to saying, like, and then the baker backs, and then I'm going to leave this scene because too much is going on.
Well, that was why I was thinking of like a hand signal or something, just so you can kind of, like, once you do that, everyone around you is kind of, like, already agreed and understands that, like, you're just stepping away, not to it effectively, like, pauses the scene, and you just get the opportunity to step away, and no one gets to feel like, oh, they just left the scene, like, that didn't feel like very in character, or do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a very pre-agreed contract for you to follow. So yeah,
I think you can take a step forward and do this in fiction if you really want to. Mm-hmm. My understanding of LARPs is that there's always, like, there's a lot of GMs going around, and, like, you can just talk to them, be like, I gotta go, and it's fine. So if you really wanted to do, you could be like, oh, I'm a baker and I have some buns in the oven and I gotta go take care of that.
For sure.
And then, that's like part of your thing. This reminded me of a really wonderful Twitter thread by Leah Labresco Sargent, who is a really wonderful games player, and I've talked to about, because she spent a lot of time at conventions doing these games, and she signed up for a LARP at Gen Con, but she had a 6-month-old baby, and she was trying to integrate that into her care. She was like, hey, what are I supposed to do about that? And then they ended up integrating the baby into the LARP.
Oh, that's so amazing.
She seemed like to be a noble woman who just had a baby, but really she was like a secret spy, and the baby was her cat familiar, and it just looked like a baby. And one of the moves in here was called Mother's Excuse. You've trained your familiar to occasionally demand your attention in some way as if she were a baby. You can excuse yourself to take care of her, and you use this opportunity to do spy stuff. So I'm going to include this link in our episode description as well.
Yes.
So it's like LARPs are incredibly flexible. Like, just think of say you need this. I agree with Jasper. We shouldn't have to integrate it into the fiction. But if you want to, if you're feeling more self-conscious about this, you should see if you can integrate it into your character, that you can piece out of a scene and no one thinks it's
For sure. And I love the idea that like, I'm a pretty secretive character, and like I can't stay anywhere for too long because someone might see me. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Easy.
Pretty good.
Easy.
I like that.
Yeah, nice. That's a good question. I like that.
Yeah, we solved it. We did it.
We did it. Nailed it. Move on.
We parachuted in and we just took care of it.
Boom. Done.
All right, let's do a question that I think you and I are specifically well suited for. This is from Gotta Catch Just One Good Game.
Okay.
Pronouns he, him. I would love to get into Pokemon, but I can't figure out what game to get. There doesn't seem like there is one game that everyone likes, but as a person who has a podcast about Pokemon, ostensibly, that's us.
Yep.
I figured you would be the best person to ask. They also add that they have a Switch. Jasper, what game should Gotta Catch Just One Good Game start with?
What game should you start with? Okay, before I get into the weeds with this, whatever game you want. Like, I honestly...
That's what I was going to say.
Take a look at the starting Pokemon. Who do you vibe with? Get that one. Like, genuinely, that's how I feel. But purely because I feel like mostly everyone I know has a wildly different favorite Pokemon game, and usually it boils down to the first one they played. Or like the second one or something. Do you know what I mean? There's a very specific reason as to why that's their favorite. It's just because they have a lot of nostalgia. It has all of the Pokies that they like. You know what I mean? I think there's a ton of reasons. Now, caveating that, I would potentially suggest starting with some of the earlier iterations, purely because I feel like working back to front might feel a little clunky. Not actually in terms of like the world or anything like that. I'm just talking sheer mechanics. Like, it is a very enjoyable running around it on the Switch and being like, holy crap, like 3D, graphics, actual tall grass. I can pop up my little bike and cycle around, and I can actually see Pokemon in the wild, and all of that stuff is fun. And I could definitely imagine if you didn't already have the emotional attachment to the previous ones, you might feel a little like, okay. Because actually, I remember as a kid playing the Pokemon Coliseum games on GameCube, dude. And like that was like, the only thing, if that game let you catch Pokemon in the wild, that would have been, I never would have looked back. You know what I mean? So yes. I just think that's the only caveat I would say, is that maybe if you like one, like an earlier gen one, maybe give that a go first, just so that you don't like rule out because then if you play the Switch versions and you're like, this is my jam, maybe you kind of rule out playing some of the older versions, which would be a real shame because there's some absolutely A-class games in there. So I think that's my advice. Other than that, Silver.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Here's what I would say, because I have to kick in Jasper's door and shake him and say, this is the real world, man. Yep. This is the real fucking world.
I was being shaken, just in case you...
No, it's true. No, your sound effects were great. You were really good.
Yeah, but it's just audio format. I just realized no one can see the actions you're doing or I'm doing.
Here's what I would suggest because Nintendo has a bad reputation of not fucking giving a shit if you can play their old games, right? And it might be pretty difficult for you to play Red and Blue Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is the remake of those. Gold and Silver, or the remakes of it. Heart Gold and whatever.
Soul Silver.
Soul Silver, thank you. Or Ruby, Sapphire, or Platinum. Honestly, my recommendation would be Ruby or Platinum, and I'll come back to that in a moment. If you have the Switch, you should get Sword and Shield. I think the easiest thing to do here before you start your Poke journey, just buy either Sword or Shield. It is... I would never recommend to someone to get Scarlet and Violet because it's still a goddamn mess.
Sure.
And it is really odd. The thing I was going to say, because Jasper, you touched on it a little bit, every single game is a jumping on point.
Yes.
Because Pokemon is for children.
Yes. Yeah. That's important to caveat for sure.
Right. So like there's any game would work for you. The easiest way to do this is if you got Sword and Shield.
Yep.
My follow-up would be if you did want to start with Pokemon Stadium, which is where you just battle Pokemon, that is coming to the N64 emulator that is on Switch, but you got to pay extra money for it, and that does create a little bit more friction. If you want to play some of the other games that Jasper recommends, I would recommend Platinum. If you have a Mac, you can get OpenEMU, which is a emulator,
baby.
And it's really simple, and you can download a emulator for an emulator game of Ruby or Sapphire. It's complicated. It just gets really complicated because of just the way that Nintendo refuses to make it easy for you to play old games. That's just their thing. Nintendo's a very strange company. They're like a capricious wizard in that like they will do something incredible. They will reverse gravity in front of you, but only when they want to do it on their time.
Yeah. Well, I think part of Nintendo's problem is they have cornered the market on game nostalgia. Like there is no one who does kind of nostalgic games that you just want to replay into your, late 70s like Nintendo has. And I genuinely think Nintendo is terrified that if they make it super easy to play their old games, no one will buy the new games because they'll just keep playing. They'll just be there playing old Zelda games or old, Pokemon games or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I genuinely think that's part of the rationale. I think it's dumb, but I did genuinely think it's part of the rationale.
They could just resell it. I have no problem with them reselling at this point.
I do. Because I've bought The Last of Us 3 times,
That's not
Eric,
Nintendo's
and it has
fault.
to stop.
Neil Druckmann is coming into your house and forcing
care.
you to, and is taking your money.
Look, Neil Druckmann's put my bib on me, okay? He's put my little bib on me and he's going, oh, here comes the plane. And on the plane, there's a little clicker. And I'm like, yeah, and I love it. And I love it, okay? I love it. And I bought that game 3 times. And I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm a disappointment.
It's fair. It's fair. And like at this point, they can resell it, but at the same time, is like I wish the Virtual Console still existed. The thing that was on the Wii and the Wii U, you could just do it and buy things. At this point, they're encouraging people to pirate, and we are not a pro-piracy podcast, theoretically. If you
unless it's the good old-fashioned arr, you know what I mean? Because like we like a bit of that. Go check out season 3 of JTP. I'm just
we love pirate stories. We love One Piece. We do, but my lawyer is telling me that we are not a pro-piracy podcast. But it's like this is where we're at. It's like if you're not going to help us, what are we supposed to do? Especially with Nintendo shutting down the 3DS eShop recently, is like, what do you want us to do?
I didn't even know about that. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's really wild.
If you really want to have the experience, you can buy a Nintendo Advance SP and put the actual stuff in it. Like you can still buy this stuff. It's never been better. It's never been a better time to want vintage, quote unquote, vintage video game stuff and actually use it like it's a real thing. You can go buy that stuff, and like there are a few different opportunities here, but really, if you want to just do the Switch, I say go buy Sword and Shield.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
No.
I'm with you.
And Jasper, I'm gonna do in the next episode, we're gonna do a remastered version of this question. We're gonna put more polygons.
I'll buy it again. I'll buy it again. No, not more polygons, please.
All right, Jasper, I have another question for you, or we can play a game within a game. I've been sitting on this for multiple episodes.
Game within a game.
Because we have not had the opportunity to do it.
For a fact I'm going to pick game within a game. There's no questions.
All right, it's time for everyone's favorite Games and Feelings segment, Game Within a Game, which is where I play a game with Jasper Cartwright.
Hi, it's me.
All right, it seems like we have Jasper Cartwright from, what is this, the United Kingdom here? Is that a real place?
Yep. I'm just in my villa. That's how we are.
Sorry, I don't understand that pronunciation. Don't you mean villa? Villa. I love how much joy that brings you.
Oh, it's so funny. I literally message you most times now on Slack, just saying villa.
All right.
Villa.
This game is called Was This Character in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series?
Oh, no. Okay. I should have this. Yeah. I've got family members that will be annoyed with me if I don't get this. Okay, here we go.
Now, Jasper, don't worry. I'm not going to make you name all of the very popular skateboarders from the aughts and the 2010s. I'm not going to make you do that, but I just want everyone to know Buck Elastic, Bob Burnquist, Tony Hawk is not a street skater. He's a vert skater, so he'd be pretty bad at doing a kickflip. This is what I know. We're talking about the unlockable characters that you would not expect to be in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game.
Oh, man. Okay.
Jasper, I'm going to read you somebody, and you're going to tell me yes or no if this person was in the Tony Hawk series, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, for example, if I said, Jasper, is Jasper Cartwright in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, what would you say?
I'd say yes, because I was there the whole time. No. I'd say no, obviously. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the game. So
that's your face. So that's a fake point, but yeah, that was the example. Okay, yeah. Here we go.
Well, no. You said fake point, but you asked me a question. We'd started the game, so therefore that's point.
All right, fine. We give a point to Jasper for answering the example correctly. There you go. Yes, this is like you writing your name on the SATs. You do get points
100%. Yeah.
Okay, Jasper, was Green Day frontman Billy Joe Armstrong in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series?
That makes a ton of sense. So I'm going to say yes, even as just a little reward for you if you're duping me, because I feel like that makes sense. So
Sure. Billy Joe Armstrong was, in fact, in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Man, that's the most on the nose one I'm going to give you.
Yeah. That felt like surely. Yep. Okay, yeah.
You unlock Billy Joe Armstrong in Tony Hawk's American Wasteland once you complete classic mode on normal difficulty. You just do it. It's very simple to get Billy Joe Armstrong.
Just get classic mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Got that.
All right, question number 2. Jasper, was fan favorite Shrek in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series?
See, now this feels like a trick question because I've definitely seen Shrek on a skateboard.
Right.
Like with the graphics of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. So I'm thinking, but that feels like a mod to me because we have an obsession with putting Shrek in everything.
You were getting brain blasted by 2023.
Yeah, literally. Like we put Shrek everywhere and it's not good. No.
Jasper, Shrek was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. No! Yes. That was real. It is from Tony Hawk's Underground 2. He was in there to promote the Shrek 2 movie, which was also published by Activision. So there was actually some, game was, so there was actually some very easy.
Yeah. Because Activision made some Shrek games as well.
Yes, exactly. Sure. So they already had the model. Right.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I should have. Yeah, okay, right. 3 points to me. That's fine.
I just want to shout out specifically that, again, very easy to get Shrek. All you have to do is complete the story on easy. They really wanted you to have Shrek.
Well, it's kind of pointless putting in a promo for another thing, but then making it hard to even see the promo.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, Shrek had a special grind where he uses earwax as lubricant for grinding his skateboard. And in that game, in Thug, you could spray graffiti, but instead he would burp, and then the Shrek S would show up on the wall.
I don't like that.
No, you don't like that?
No.
Shrek's a rude dude with attitude. I don't know what to tell you.
He's a rude dude.
You know, Jasper, there's also a mode where once you beat it, in the morning I'm making waffles. That joke didn't make sense. Mischa, cut that. Mischa, cut it. That joke wasn't good.
Mischa, leave it in.
No, Mischa, double it. Mischa, play it at 1.5 speed.
Hang him out to dry.
No, that joke was terrible. Okay. All right, Jasper, can you play as a human-sized hand in Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Like the Thing? Not Thing. No, it's like Thing, not the Thing. Thing.
Yes, like Thing. Yeah, just the hand.
Yes.
Absolutely, you can play as a hand.
Yeah. Of course you can. Yeah.
Also unlockable in Tony Hawk's Underground 2. So once you beat easy, you story mode on easy. Then you can do it on normal, and you unlock the hand. The hand is a severed hand, of course, because it's a Tony Hawk game. There's a little bit of gore coming out the top. People said that this is a reference to tech decks.
Yeah,
because
I love
you
the
would
tech.
play.
Yeah, that was why I was thinking. I was pretty convinced it was actually real, because I was like, I feel like tech decks were really popular around that time, and it 100% makes sense that Tony Hawk would have like had a series of tech decks that you could get, and yeah, so that just made sense.
I mean, they also, I didn't include this one, but you can also play as like the Nasty Eye from the Neversoft logo.
Makes sense.
So
yeah,
it's like,
makes sense.
I mean, it's a Tony Hawk game. What do you expect? It's really cool and edgy.
It's cool, and there's an eyeball.
Cool, edgy. All right, Jasper, let's go to Darth Maul. You remember Darth Maul from the prequels? He had a big lightsaber that came out both sides. He had a red and black face, little horns. He was very cool and neat. Could you play as Darth Maul?
I want to, so yes.
Yeah, dude, you can play as Darth Maul.
Yeah, okay, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. I'm down for that.
That's fun stuff.
Jar Jar Binks too?
You can't. I do not have Jar Jar Binks, unfortunately.
That's rude. They should have. Shout out to Jar Jar.
Yeah.
You should definitely be able to. Mischa do a kickflip. That'd be great. That'd have been great.
All right, and then I'm going to say the exact same thing that Jasper did.
And then
Here we go.
No matter what trick it is, he says the same thing just to piss everyone
Every
off.
time he says Mischa gonna do a kickflip.
Mischa gonna do a kickflip every single. No matter what, but he doesn't ollie. He just says still says that.
I love that. I love that so much. Hey, here's another Star Wars one. You can play as Darth Maul, but can you play as Jango Fett? Everyone knows Jango Fett, who's Boba Fett's dad? Question mark?
Son? No, I thought it was Boba Fett's son. Maybe it's not.
Hey, Star Wars people, write in. All engagement is good engagement.
I bet you anything they're gonna say, oh, actually, his son was called Jango Fett. He named it after his father, who was also named Jango Fett.
Oh, sure.
That.
See, that's why I put the question mark at the end of that.
Yeah, nice. Okay. No, you're trying to catch me out here.
Yeah, dude, you can still play as Jango Fett.
Yeah, of course you can. He's covered in metal. Of course, it makes sense.
It's very cool.
But I bet you it's weird that he doesn't use the jetpack that's on his back at any point.
Yeah, he really should. It feels like, why are you using a skateboard?
It's a handicap. Like, why are you playing with one hand tied behind your back? Let's go. Get the jetpack out.
For sure. Jasper, can you play as Ben Franklin? Do you know about Ben Franklin? Have you heard of him?
Yeah, for sure you can play as Ben Franklin. Does he have a little kite?
He does have a little kite. He has his signature lethal glasses, and he has his little he has syphilis, and he has his wig.
He has his little syphilis.
Yeah. Can you play as Ben Franklin?
Yeah, for sure. And he has a kite.
Unfortunately, you cannot play as Ben Franklin.
Rude.
Though I did say, I realized that the name of this game was this character in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, so it's my fault, because he is in the Boston level of Tony Hawk's Underground 2. So you can't play as him, but he is there, so I'm going to give you the point anyway.
He is there.
He's there.
Wow, thank you.
He is there.
Thank you. That's credible.
Jasper, did you realize something about all the questions that I asked?
They're all in there.
They're all in there, yes. Correct.
They're all in there. They're all in there.
Yeah. And finally, this is not a yes or no question. Jasper, I need you to name two superheroes who were in the Tony Hawk games.
Superman. Was Superman in there? He's in everything.
Okay, Superman. And? Spider-Man
has to be in there. I'll be pissed if Spider-Man's not in there.
All right, Jasper, you're locking that in? Those are your two answers?
No. I'm going to change out Superman for Wolverine, because I feel like that's metal enough to be in the Tony Hawk game.
Okay, great. Jasper, the superheroes who have been in Tony Hawk Pro Skater games are Spider-Man.
Yes.
Iron Man.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty metal.
And Wolverine.
Yes! Come on. Look at that pivot at the end there. Boom! Let's go, baby. There's no way that Wolverine wasn't in there. I know.
They really chose two really cool guys, and then, of course, they put Iron Man in because Iron Man was the hotness at the time.
Yeah, he's the hotness.
Here's the thing, though. If you had said Superman, I would have accepted it because of Goldfinger's Superman from the for the first soundtrack.
All right. Okay, so I still would have got the points. That's good to know.
Yeah. Because if you're pretending that I'm a Superman, that still counts as being in the game. That counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
Counts.
All right, so I'm looking at the scores. I really wasn't keeping track. Jasper, you did figure out that everybody was in the game, so I'll give you full marks. Congratulations, Jasper. You are our $100,000 winner.
Thank you. I'm going to use my money to buy Multitude.
No.
Yes, and I'm going to keep it going because I love it. So.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you, benevolent billionaire. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. I'm actually technically only 1,000 there, but that's fine.
I know. Now I'm like, I don't want our valuation of Multitude to only be 100,000. I don't want that to be out there.
Yeah, that would be that information to be out there just in case anyone's like, hey, I've got some money lying around.
Yeah,
I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll just do whatever. My dad gave this to me as allowance. It's fine.
If you give me Jasper £100,000, I'll give you Multitude. I don't know whether legally I can, but like I could do with 100,000. So just come over and I'll do it. I'll give it to you. It's fine.
Honestly, it's tricking you because if you trade Multitude, it turns into Gengar. So I'm fine with that. I fucking got you.
Oh, man. You got me, dude.
Jasper, get out of here. Go get married. Go on your wonderful honeymoon and never make content ever again. I assume that that's what your plan is.
It's honestly the opposite. It's worrying how much that is the opposite. I kind of wish that is like a version that's true, that I just ride off into the undying lands with my now wife and we're just there and happy. But nope, I'll come back to the content grind and you guys will have more of me. Oh, so much more of me.
I'm going to call my shot right now, and I want you I really want to get in your head before your wedding. Jasper, make sure you don't say, Mischa, do a kickflip during your vows.
Sounds like a dare to me, Eric.
Well, now I'm getting in her head. Now I want to see it. This is mind games. I want to see what happens.
This is a dare. This sounds like a dare to me, Eric. And look, if someone wires me 100,000 right now, I'm going to say it. If someone wires it to me before my wedding day, I'll film myself saying it. And honestly, when I explained to my then wife why I said Mischa do a kickflip in the middle of my vows, because if someone sent me £100,000, she'd be fine with it as well. So, because we'd be going on a nicer honeymoon.
That's fine. Let's keep saying Mischa do a kickflip so it gets really lodged in your brain. Let's get in there.
Mischa do a kickflip. It's in there. It's locked in, man.
Well, Jasper, because you refuse to take this opportunity to leave and never do content again and get off of this mortal coil, this content treadmill, hey, where can people find you doing stuff?
You can find me on the internet at JW_Cartwright. That's where I post on all of the social medias. And I'm over on Three Black Halflings, this wonderful podcast, and the Performance Catcher podcast. I got a ton of stuff coming up. Let me tell you. Lots of little brown boys running around. So just keep it locked to my social media. You'll find out what's happening. But just so happy to be here. So happy to be here with Captain America himself, Eric Silver.
Yeah, that's me. I'm America's ass. Everyone knows that.
It's just a picture of a donkey with your face on it.
Damn, fucking roasted. Yeah, I'm the Democratic Party. That's me. That's why me and Joe Biden are the same. We're the same. Hey folks, remember to write in for questions here at Games and Feelings. We definitely would love them, and we definitely need enough sports questions for Jasper and I to do an Oops All Sports episode. We definitely want to do that. That'll be a lot of fun. Please make sure to write in questions. Just go to the website gamesandfeelings.com, and there's a button for you to write in questions, or you can always email us or do whatever. Contact us. Just tell people about the show. This is fun to do, but we want more people to listen to it. You can follow us on socials at Games and Feelings on Twitter, Games and Feelings on Insta. And I'm around. I'm making 4 shows right now. It's fine.
Yeah, you are. Make that content, baby.
I'm doing it. I'm also going to ride away to the hinterlands after this so that no one ever finds me again. But until then, remember, Jasper, remember.
Okay, I will.
If you beat Games and Feelings on easy mode, you can unlock Shrek. Bye. Games and Feelings is produced by Eric Silver and edited and mixed by Mischa Stanton. The theme music is Return to French Toast Castle by Jeff Bryce, and the art was created by Jessica Boyd. Find transcripts for this episode and all episodes at our website, gamesandfeelings.com. Until next time, press X to enjoy the podcast.